All right, good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk Jaws Live. We've got a
sorry.
guest.
I thought we were live.
No,
I kept trying to bring up the show on my phone so I could read the messages. We had a great conversation.
All the good stuff we just said, and it was just for us. But I guess that's the privilege we get.
Yeah, I can't
blame that on the producer. That one's on me, guys. Hey, I apologize.
Okay, I joined you. You guys were talking. That's my fault for being late. I'm sorry. Well, good.
All right, and you guys at home, I do apologize there. Sorry, we got the ball rolling, so we are here. I had to hit the live button, so I carry that weight on me. So I do apologize. So as you noticed tonight, we are here. We've got Michael is here. We got our good buddy Martin come visit us again tonight. Thought he'd come hang out with us. Had such a good time last time. Had to have him back. And of course, I'm here trying to keep us all under wraps and keep it all in check. So I want to welcome everyone tonight. Hope your week is going pretty well. Hopefully you're in a part of the country where the weather isn't affecting you too bad. Some places it's been looking a little rough. Some of it with the heat out in California, all the water, now all the mud and everything that's going on. And I feel like I'm pretty fortunate. I've been talking to Martin about how things are for him, and he says it's just been pretty oppressive down where he's at. So hopefully everyone's in a pretty good safe place, and hopefully in a good comfortable spot sitting here watching the show tonight. So and a couple people popping in here already. Robert is in. Robert, good to see you, buddy.
Hi, James.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. All right. And so just to kind of kick off before we really dive in here, I just want to take a minute and just give a big shout out and birthday to someone that we're all familiar with. Some of us are really familiar with him, and that is Jeffrey Voorhees. Jeffrey Voorhees just had his birthday this week, and I had a lot of us had the fortunate chance to meet him on more than one occasion, and a lot of that is just because the type of guy he is. He's such a cool, laid-back guy. You see him, either at the wharf. Well, I guess not anymore. He retired this past year, I believe.
He retired.
Oh, he did? I didn't know that.
Huh. I'm pretty sure he retired in February. However, I did see, because I follow the wharf, I saw him posting. I think it was for like a pool tournament or something like that. So I don't think he completely walked away from it. It sounds like he still has some connections to it. And if you don't see him there, you see him walking around the island. I mean, he's cruising down Oak Bluffs, and he's taking the dog for a walk down by the beach or something like that. So, but just wanted to say happy birthday to Jeffrey. I know there's a lot of things going out to him this week, so but definitely something of relevancy that we wanted to get on. So. All right, and here we go. And Vic is here. Vic, thanks for the message there, buddy. You kind of alerted me here. We had to get the ball rolling. So good to have people that look out for you. We got someone else. Hello, everyone there as well. Awesome stuff. Yeah, great. So, kind of getting things going here, and the reason why we had Martin on wasn't just because I like to hang out and talk with him, because really wanted to kind of hit and talk about what's been going on with his site, with the Amity Jaws Group. I don't know how aware everyone else is. Every time I've been getting on in the last 2-3 weeks, maybe longer, there's something else going on. I'm seeing, people getting on there and doing recreating sketches. I'm seeing pictures of compilations of Jaws artifacts and things of that nature. Just something's been happening all the time. Every time I turn around, you've got something else popping up, something else in the works. And on top of that, Martin, your number is hit. Last time I saw it, it's probably changed since then. 22.5 thousand members is what I saw the last time. They're pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's about right. It's. I'm not sure what's happened, but we were talking before we went live. But you guys are killing it as well. I think you're over 8,000. And I don't think you guys have even been up a year. So, those are incredible numbers. But yeah, we just celebrated 5 years, over 22,000. And it's crazy. It just grows and grows and grows. And every morning I wake up, I check my phone, and there's like another 10, 15, 20 people wanting to join. So Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's more than I could ask for. You know, we started this group 5 years ago. I didn't expect it to be anything like this. You know, I thought it'd be just a cool thing where we could see a few little cool photos. Maybe we get to, you know, interact with a few other Jaws people around the world. But it's just been crazy, and I don't really have an explanation for it. It's just, I think we've been very, very lucky. We have moderators that really care about the site. We try to keep it fresh, but yeah, we've really been lucky, and that's all I can kind of put it down to. You know, just pure luck, really.
And also, you know, it's like the Jaws 50 group. It's a private group. It's not that not everybody can join, but you've got to have. You have to try to join your group. You have to try to join our group. You have to show some kind of Jaws acumen. We just don't, you know, not to sound snobby, we just don't let anyone in. But
no, and it's funny to say every single person that's joined the group, I have approved myself. You know, I don't do a great deep dive. I'm not the FBI, but I look at the profile. If it seems legit and they seem like they like Jaws, and it doesn't seem like it's a bogus. You know, doing this now for 5 years, you can pick out the bogus ones pretty quickly. And I don't get it right all the time. You know, I do make mistakes. We do get people in there that are just are not interested. They're just in there for their own, you know, whatever they want to do, try and sell fake T-shirts or whatever it is. But, you know, every single person that's joined AJG, I have approved, you know, all 22,000 of them over the 5 years. And, you know, I think I have a pretty decent, you know, record there, because we don't really get, you know, like we said before, I mean, Facebook can be a toxic place, and people are out there to do their own thing, and we've all experienced that, right? Even in the world of Jaws, there are people out there that have nefarious, you know, objectives, and they're not really in it for Jaws; they're in it for themselves. You know, but it's good that we've connected, because you know you guys are the good guys, right? Well, we're the good guys. We're on the right side. We're wearing the white hats. We're the good guys here. So. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there. I was just talking, and I kind of talked myself into a corner. So
that's all right. Actually, I got someone has a really good question here for you to answer, and it says, Martin, is the first rule of your group not to watch Jaws?
Whoever that person is, I love them, and if they're not on AJG, they need to come over. Yeah, I think it's well documented. My feelings of Jaws: The Revenge. You know, I don't really acknowledge it, and I think if you do acknowledge it, you need to examine yourself. It's not a good film, is it? You know, if it was called, and I've had this conversation, if it was called Jaws in the Bahamas, oh no, Shark in the Bahamas, I'd probably like it. But the fact that it carries the Jaws moniker, yeah. I can't get past that, because it's a blatant cash grab, right, from Sid Sheinberg for his wife, you know, Lorraine Gary. There's no quality to it. There's just not, and I'll stop there. Otherwise, I'll take up the whole hour crapping on Jaws: The Revenge. So I'll just be quiet there.
One of these days, we're going to have to do a debate between 3D and The Revenge, because you know you really draw some lines there. You really get into a heated debate here.
Well, we talked about this, I think, last time I was on the Jaws 3D. I'm obviously English, but I've been living in the States for 20 years plus. Nobody has ever played standoff in my vicinity, so I think the standoff is a complete lie. I think Americans don't play standoff. I think it's just a lie.
I am just mesmerized, and I commented when you posted stuff on AGG last week. People are showing their collections. I am mesmerized with that Brody on the mast behind you.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that thing is about 3 feet tall. Yeah, and I have a guy, a friend of mine in Texas called Harry Lee, that does this work, and he's made me a Brody, a Quint. The Quint is phenomenal. A Mayor Vaughn and a Hooper, and they're standing about 3 feet tall. And I mean, they're one-offs. I mean, they're one-offs. And he kind of said to me, "What do you want?" And I said, "I'd love Brody on the mast." But he sent it in the mail from Texas, and Harry won't mind me saying this. He's a tremendous artist, but he's probably one of the least organized people you ever come across. This thing went to North Dakota, from Texas to North Dakota back to Texas, and then over to me in Alabama. And it didn't really get that. There's a few things on the wrist that got broken up, but mostly it arrived in good condition. But he accidentally sent it to somebody in North Dakota. I don't know how he did that, but tremendous artist. But I think with that tremendous art comes the lack of organization. But great guy and great artist.
If he sends the next one to Missouri, you're not going to get it. Ever.
Exactly. You're like, I don't know where it went. I have no idea. What do you mean?
I'll be doing the show and I'll get like a 3-foot hooper in the shark cage behind me. And I'll be like, oh, I've had this for years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, don't worry about that. Yeah, I had this for years. Yeah, that's funny.
Made it myself, actually, yeah. And I can speak to that. Must be using that side of the brain. Years ago, I was a musician. I was a bass player for a bunch of years and played in local bands and stuff. And some of the best musicians I've ever met in my life were the guys that you had to call up at 5:30, 6 o'clock and say, we go on in 20 minutes, right? You're supposed to be here, right?
Yeah. I think those things go hand in hand. I think those things are tandem. If you're brilliant at something, you're lacking in something else. And, like I say, Harry is massively talented, but he's not the most organized person. And I think he'd mind me saying that. Somebody says standoff is a real thing. I think that's a blatant lie.
I have never heard of the game Standoff. Even watching that, and maybe watching that movie as a kid, you're going, oh, okay, what do I know? But as an adult, I'm thinking, when's the last time you were in a bar and was playing that with someone?
It seems like a bad idea, right? You got a couple of people full of beer or wine or liquor, and they're going to start pushing each other. It doesn't seem like that would end very well.
That was Campbell.
Okay.
Owens made that.
Oh yeah. I know Campbell. Yeah, Campbell's a great guy. I think I'm going to meet Campbell in October in Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky, because Richard Dreyfuss is going to be there, and Susan Backlinie, Jeff Kramer, and Jeff Voorhees. So I think I'm going to meet Campbell then. So that'd be great.
I tried to get a table there, but they were already booked. I found out too late.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
That's a shame. Are you going to make it down anyway, or is it a bit of a trip for you?
It's still a bit of a trip, but I still might.
I'll be there. It's about a 6-hour drive for me. It's about a 6-hour drive for me, but we're going to go. No, it's 3 feet high. It's not 8 feet high. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 feet high.
Brody.
We got another hello there. I got to check to see who that is.
Hi, everyone. That was Donna. Donna's here.
Hi, Donna. Donna, good to hear from you. Hey, hope you're starting to feel a little better.
She is. I talked to her today. You're doing much better.
Hey, really good. I want to give her a buzz, but I'm in physical therapy right now, so I had to rush from work to get physical therapy and get here to get this thing going. So I'll give her a call. Maybe over the weekend here, see how she's doing. So let's see. It says they would play Standoff in a biker's bar.
That's James Scott.
Wow, that's interesting.
I stand corrected. I've just never ever come across it in 20 plus years living stateside.
I am going to be stupid, but I'm the old man, so maybe this is a kid's thing. What is Standoff?
So you want to say? Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, so in Jaws 3 when Sean meets and I forget the name, the Leah Thompson character, when they're in the bar and they're like pushing. It's a game of balance, Michael. It's a game of balance. So you may need to go back and watch Jaws 3. Yeah.
I've seen it like 3 times.
Yeah, and that's probably once 3 times.
Once a decade.
So they stand there with their hands, and the idea is you try and push someone, okay, knock them off balance. And obviously they're trying to push back, but then not only do they push, also come back, hoping that they're trying to push and go off balance. Never played that. Now, as a kid, when we were like 12 years old, your 12-year-old buddies, someone's got to be the tough guy. So we used to play this game. I think it was called like 6 inches or something. Dumbest game in the world. You would stand with your arm out 6 inches from your friend's chest, and you were allowed to move your fist 6 inches. And if you were allowed to back up 6 inches and give them a little shot in the chest, you tried to knock them off balance. It was the same thing, but it was.
No.
Once you did that 3 times and somebody socked you in the eye, you didn't want to play that game anymore. So
yeah. Seems like it's going to end in tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at Jaws 50, we'll have a standoff contest.
I know who I want to play against. He shall remain nameless on this call, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
That's like the game where you say, "Let's see who can hit each other the softest," and you go, "Oh, damn it, I lost." Yeah.
Just let me go first.
Yeah, his dance card's going to be full. Yeah.
What movie was that with Bruce Willis? Was it The Jackal? when he's got that like computer controlled range like gun or machine gun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he says to the one guy, he walks out in the field, he goes, "Hey, hold up that pack of cigarettes." And he holds up the pack of cigarettes and he shoots and he blows his arm off. He goes, "Damn, it was off."
Well, do you know? As a little trivia, do you know who that guy was that got shot?
I do.
No, huh?
I'm supposed to. That's my job.
Do you know, Michael? Who is it?
I'm going to feel wrong if I'm wrong. Is it Jack Black?
It's Jack Black. That's exactly right. Yeah.
You're kidding me. Really?
Yeah, it's Jack Black. Yeah, in an early role.
Wow. Shows you how long it's been since I've seen that one. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah.
Fan Expo starts in Toronto and nothing Jaws related. That must be Vic.
That is
Vic reporting there. That's a shame. Didn't they have? Yeah, matter of fact, wait, another one here. Yeah, Jaws 2 cast. Yeah, back to Toronto. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple Jaws 2 cast people that are coming to do something else, aren't they? Pretty soon, one of the expos or something like that.
They did a appearance. Gary and John Dukakis did an event up in Rhode Island, and then Gary and Gigi are doing something. The gentleman that repped the Jaws 2 kids and repped me passed away. So
no way.
Kind of without representation, and I've talked to Gary, and I might try to kind of not represent them, but promote them at other shows. That's still up in the air, and it's got, everybody else has to go on board with the idea. But I think the Jaws 2 people are underappreciated or underrepresented at these shows. I know they'll be at SharkCon 10 next year, second weekend in July. Mark your calendars, because it's going to be people from all 4 films.
That's in Tampa, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll be there for that for sure.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be there, because that's an hour and 20-minute flight for me.
Yeah, I know Richard's going to be there. I'm not sure. He was trying to get Mark Gilpin, but sadly he passed. He wanted Ann Dusenberry. And I know Lance Guest and Mario Van Peebles from Jaws Revenge will be there. I'm not sure who he has lined up for Jaws from Jaws 3, but it's going to be Jaws overload. So
that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Martin, are you going to the show in Kentucky?
Yeah, I'll be there. Already got tickets for that. Yeah, so I'll be there for that. And actually, the guys, I contacted them because I was supposed to do a Q&A with Susan Backlinie at FrankenCon in Alcoa, Tennessee this past June. She cancelled kind of last minute, but I was like, well, we got tickets. So my wife and I went, and we had a great time. I mean, I love Jaws, but I'm also a big horror fan. We got to meet Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, and she did a viewing of that, and it was great. And then met the guys from Frankenhooker and Basket Case. We had a really good time. I love cheesy horror movies almost as much as I love Jaws. So we had a great time. So I reached out to the guys at Scarefest and said, hey, I'm the admin of this Jaws page, and I plan to be there. Richard Dreyfuss is going to be there, and Jeff Voorhees, Jeff Kramer, Susan Backlinie. Can I do anything? Can I help out or anything? And they've got it all scheduled and stuff, and that's fine. I'd rather just go as a fan rather than have the pressure of having to actually do anything. I'd just like to go there and meet these guys and and shake their hand and get some photos and stuff. But so I'm excited for that. Yeah, like I said, it's a 6-hour drive for us, but that's. I mean, these guys are getting up there in years. So how many more chances are we going to have to meet them? So I can't wait for it. It's going to be great in October. And also next month we're flying up to see The Shark is Broken in New York, which I can't wait for that. It's going to be a great time as well.
That'll be
fun.
We're
going to hit on that a little bit too. I was up there, I don't know, about a month ago. I went up and saw the show and took the family up, and we all had an absolute blast. Really had a good time. Awesome. Had a good time.
It's getting great reviews as well. I heard it's great. Everyone, even I saw some interviews. Even people that haven't even seen Jaws, they said it was a great time. They really enjoyed it. All the cast was great. Ian Shaw and the guys that play Hooper and Brody were great as well. So I'm super excited about that.
Which month, Michael? If that's SharkCon next year, it is July. I want to say it's the 13th and 14th. It's actually a days before my wife's birthday, so I can actually go this year. Or next year. So it's the second weekend in July. Tampa, SharkCon 10. Tell your friends.
And you'll have to let me know when you guys book for that? Like how far ahead of time? Because I've been talking with Jen, and because we're talking about going down this year. I've never been to it, so I thought it'd be cool to head down. I know watching some of the videos from when you were down in the past, Mike, have been really cool, and so I thought it'd be a pretty neat little weekend getaway for us.
Oh, we need a little tour. I can take you around to like, this is where I first saw Jaws. This is where I did this. Yeah. My own personal Jaws tour.
Hey, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I lived in St. Pete for a couple of years before I moved up to Alabama. So I know Tampa pretty well and Ybor City and all those areas. So I probably know a lot of your old stomping grounds, Michael.
Where'd you live in St. Pete?
I lived in off of 4th. Do you know where? Well, it's probably. When was the last time you've been there?
A couple of years ago, but I lived there. My grandfather lived in St. Pete. 4th Street goes all the way down from Gandy Boulevard all the way down to the
Yeah, so I was off of 4th and I think it was like 34th as the cross street. There's a Publix there and there was a Gold's Gym when I was there at the time.
Yes.
Not too far from actually the Movie Co. The right by the almost by the St. Pete Pier. You know the pier that was there. So it wasn't too far from there.
Okay, my dad lived off Haynes Road, off of take 4th and just go up 38th Street. Yeah.
Okay, so not too far at all. Yeah, I was down Ricardo Way for a couple of places down Ricardo Way, and I was off of 34th for a little while as well. So yeah, I liked it down there. I like St. Pete. It was a pretty cool vibe down there. I quite enjoyed it when I was there.
Very nice.
Nate, ever been to St. Pete?
No, sir. You know what? I got to say, I've been to Florida twice. I was maybe twice. I'm sorry, twice. I've been to Carolinas. I've been through a bunch of the states, up and then all the way up the Eastern Seaboard. But I've only been down to Florida like 2 times. I went down as a teenager. We went down and did a week, and just honestly more of the touristy things. And when my son was 8 years old, maybe 7 or 8 years old, we took him down, and we made the mistake of going down there in July to go hit all the parks. Oof. And I want to tell you what, I probably dropped 5 pounds that week.
Yeah.
Because when you walk around and it was just, and on top of that, with him being kind of younger and more walk around hitting all the parks, I was carrying my Camelback that I used for mountain biking, and I was, throwing everything. Well, when you wear a backpack in that kind of weather, it's like walking around with a heater on your back, You would basically walk around and just sweat completely through whatever you were wearing. And then finally, some point in the afternoon, like it would get a little overcast and like the rain would come in or whatever. And it would kind of cool down just enough that you weren't sweating the entire time. And then the sun would come back out and then you would just die all over again. And it was not the good time to go. And I'm not a real big park person. Obviously I went and took my son and we did like Disney, Universal Studios, all of those things. We went to Legoland. Actually, Lego has a place down there.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite park from the ones that were there. That we were there. Universal was pretty cool. Some of the Star Wars stuff was there. It was before all what they have now. But we took one day and we kind of headed down and hit like Pebble Beach and kicked around some of the local towns and stuff like that, just to get away from the park shirt day. Went and hit like a nice local brewery and got something to eat, something to drink. I probably enjoyed that day as much as did going through and doing all the tourist park thing. And when we were at Universal Studios, I had my heart set on going through and finding remnants of whatever is left as far as like Jaws memorabilia. I went into every single shop that I could. I couldn't find a T-shirt. I couldn't find anything. I found the shark that's there, the newer shark, right in front of the water.
Right.
But that was it. I mean, there was nothing else left anymore. And my wife, who is a huge Harry Potter fan, I wasn't really happy about that because Harry Potter was one of the big reasons why Jaws is no longer there. So I have to say, Diagon Alley was quite impressive. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. That was done very well. I really think what they did that was pretty amazing. So that I can't speak to Florida because that's all I know from Florida. So
Martin will tell you it rains every day for 10 minutes at dinner time.
Exactly. I was about to say about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's going to get a little pour down and that's it. Yeah, it's so funny. It's exactly true.
Yeah, I would get up every morning and try and go to do a little bit of exercise. I'd go for a quick run or do a little strength training, and I try and get up and it tried to be done before the sun hit because once the sun hit, it just killed you. And I about broke my neck just about every morning, because every morning I'd go out and I'd head out from where we were, and I'm trying to get a pace going and run. And these little damn, I don't know what they were, lizards, salamanders, whatever, would come ripping out from under the bushes. And you, like, for the first 10 times it happens, you're like, what the hell was that? I had no idea. After a while, then you're like, oh, okay, it's one of those lizards again. And the one day, I decided to go for a hike, and this was my own stupidity. There was a pond. I'm sure there's 5 million retention ponds or whatever down there. Not too far from where we were, there was this trail. I love being outside. I love the outdoors. Like, I want to walk down a trail. Oh, cool. Here's a pond. And I'm going around the pond, and I get, maybe 15 minutes around this walk, and it's just this single lane. And I come across what looks to be the bleached out pelvis bone of something about the size of a cow. And I immediately turned around and hoofed my rear end out of there, because all I could think of was me being in Lake Placid too, and I wasn't about to end up that way. I was gone, man.
Yeah,
I was not going to be a statistic.
Little chameleons. I used to try to catch them when I was a kid, but your tail would pop off. But I was assured by my grandfather they grew back.
They grow back, yeah, exactly, yeah. That's funny.
So beyond that,
what do you got planned for the next 5 years?
To me, is that to me?
Yes, Amity Jaws Group. What do you got planned?
Well, we just finished up. Well, I say finished up. We still got stuff going on. I was telling Nate before you joined that, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work, and and this is certainly not this is not just me. I have a lot of help from the mods. Robin Tierney especially. She's really stepped it up. We did. What did we do? So we did we're finishing up our Jaws 2 reenactment. We've had a few good, funny videos of people reenacting scenes from Jaws 2. We have a special guest judge to judge that. We'll be announcing that, I think, on Saturday and Sunday who the winner is. What did we do? We did so much stuff. We did. Tomorrow we're going to have a little trip down memory lane. We're going to pick out a few of the great posts we've had, which is really difficult because we get so much traffic to the point of almost too much. We get between 60 and 90 posts a day, which is insane. And sometimes it's been over 100 posts. I'm like, what? I mean, what the heck is going on? 100 posts. So we get a lot of posts. We chose an Amity Jaws Group MVP, which was Shira Dewey, who really is a good friend to the group. She does our birthday shout outs. She's always, welcoming people. She's just a good person. So Robin actually went out to Martha's Vineyard and got Jeff Voorhees to do a little, congratulations to her. We got a little trophy made up, which is actually pretty cool. We got Amity Jaws Group t-shirts again. We did. So we were supposed to go to to Martha's Vineyard in 2020, but then COVID hit, so that got squashed. So we did a bunch of t-shirts for that, and then obviously didn't happen. And then we just got we partnered with a t-shirt company, and they made these really cool t-shirts for Amity Jaws Group that were on Amazon. Really nice t-shirts. I know I'm forgetting some stuff. We did a lot of stuff. So Saturday, we're going to be doing a Jaws script reading, which I'm a little nervous about. Somehow I got to be Quint, which I'm very, very nervous about because, I'm no actor. I'm no actor and, trying to do. And I was like, you gave me the flipping Quint. I've got to do the Indianapolis speech. What? I mean, I would have been happy to be flipping Meadows or, Chrissy or anybody. I didn't want to be Quint, but I got Robin picked me as Quint, so we're going to be doing that on Saturday, I think at 3:00 Central Time. We've got some folks from the UK doing it, some folks from over here doing it. So we'll post that. I don't know how it's going to go. It's going to be fun, but it also might be an absolute shit show as well. So we'll just see how that works out. But yeah, so we got people doing all the characters from Quint, from Jaws. And then we'll probably take a few weeks off. We'll do a competition in probably a few weeks. But then we're going to do a mini Amity Jaws Group kind of documentary, because we've had a lot of really good things happen. We've had two couples on the group meet and get married. Mm-hmm. So we've been, partially responsible for two weddings. We've had people, that have gone through some really pretty tough illnesses saying that, hey, the Amity Jaws Group really helped them get through it, put a smile on their face. I mean, so we've had a lot of good things going. So we're gonna kind of work on a mini little documentary of first of all, what was your what was the impact of Jaws on your life, and also, you know, kind of what has Amity Jaws Group done for you? And not, you know, not that I think we're anything special. We're just a Jaws group, but it has impacted people. And I don't want to be falsely modest to say that, hey, it's just a Jaws group, because I think you guys are the same. I mean, you know, when you get to a certain size and you're doing positive things, you do have a positive impact on people. And to be partially, you know, responsible for 2 weddings, people going through terrible diseases, saying, hey, this has really helped me get through my day. You know, people with disabilities, you know, appreciating the page. I mean, it's been such a positive thing. Now, it's a lot of work and it's very tiring, but it's a labor of love. And, you know, it's gone, like I said before, it's gone so far beyond what I thought it could be. For me, I just thought selfishly, yeah, I'll get to see some cool stuff from Jaws. I might get to interact with some Jaws people. Great, that'd be fun. But you know, it's gone so far beyond that, You know, I've got to meet Cole Gottlieb, you know, virtually, you know, through Facebook, Cole Gottlieb and Joe Owls and a bunch of the kids from Jaws 2. You know, Gene Coulter has become like almost like a good friend. You know, so I mean, it's just been a labor of love, and you know, I firmly believe this, and I'm not like a sentimentalist, but what you put out, I believe you get back, you know, and we've tried to be positive, and we've tried to keep it light and fun. And like I said before, we clasped onto the Amity Means Friendship, and it really has paid dividends. And I think you guys are experiencing the same thing now. I mean, you're positive light, you're growing at a crazy rate, and you'll reap the rewards from that as well.
I think it was
my only question. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I think it was another Englishman that said, the love you take is equal to the love you make.
There you go. Hey, if it's good enough for Paul McCartney, it's good enough for me.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. So my question is then, are you gonna trim that nice little beard into a set of Quint lamb chops? That's what I know.
It's funny you say that, right? Because probably like every year, my wife and I were big Halloween fans. And, you know, I'm 6'3", she's like 5'1". So there's a massive disparity in height. So we always try to do costumes that kind of play on that. So one year we did Hall and Oates. I was Daryl Hall. She was John Oates. She got the fake moustache. It was great. One year we did Sloth and Chunk. And one year I was Quint and she was Bruce. She dressed up as a shark. And I shaved the beard. I did the moustache. I don't think I'm going to commit to that this time, just because my beard is coming, and I'm quite proud of my beard. And Michael, you can, you know, Nate, you've got some facial hair. So I mean, you know, and when you've got nothing on top like me, you need the facial hair. Exactly. Me and Michael are separated at birth, right?
Hey, question here for you, bud. It says, is your script read using Zoom?
It will be using Zoom. And we will record it and we will post it on Amity Jaws Group. Again, I don't know how it's going to be. I've said to everybody that I do encourage some day drinking. Let's get loose. Let's enjoy it. But it's either going to be really great or it's going to be really terrible. But the people that were doing it are going to probably have a lot of fun. So it might be one of those things where you go, hey, you had to be there, right, to appreciate it. Because, you know, I'm like, as it's getting closer, I'm getting more and more nervous. You know, I'm not fit to play Quint. Even in the script reading, I'm just not fit to do that. I can't put on the voice and the accent like Robert Shaw did. So I don't know. I did make the joke though. I said I was going to play Quint like Liberace, really like, you know, camp it up a little bit, just as a twist, to put a twist on it, you know.
You got skinny hands, Mr. Hooper.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'll put it out there. I'll apologise up front. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know, but we're going to try, and we'll see what happens.
Hey, Warren, don't apologize for it. First of all, get it on there and make it yours. I mean, you know, no one is going to get on there and reproduce it the way it was. So make it yours and have a good time. You know, you're constantly worried about, am I going to regret this? And you do it for the wrong reasons. It's because your love of it. You guys want to do it and have a good time. And it's something special you guys are going to have. No matter what, you go back and look at that and have that connection. Or best is sit and watch it together after. That's one of the best things. So
yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun doing it. And I'm sure we're going to have some laughs. But, you know, it's like one of those things like, you know, you go out one night and have a few drinks and you like the next morning you wake up and you think, oh, my God, what did I do? I think that might be the same kind of feeling we get from this. But it's going to be fun. Look, I don't think anybody's done that before. You know, not at least a bunch of amateurs. You know, a bunch of amateur. You know, we're not actors. We're not. You know, so it's just going to be fun. It's going to be something different to do.
And you put your own spin on it, which will be cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if
So
I ever get to see The Shark Is Broken and I meet Ian Shaw, I'll say, you were good, but you're no Martin Bushell.
You may be the son, but you haven't seen me do Robert Shaw yet. So calm down, Ian.
we had a question here. It said, what we got here? Was Quinn's sideburns real? They were real sideburns, to my knowledge. But if you look at some of the footage that was shot while they were on the island, that there was some shows that I've seen over the years, like for local New England shows and some interviews, you could tell it looked like they kind of doctored up the gray. He had that kind of gray frosted look on the edge of him and on the tips of his hair. I mean, I would say they looked real. And I saw Ian do the show; they were real. And I mean, the spitting image that those two have. So yeah, I would say, I can't say 100% sure, but I would say without a doubt they sure look like.
No, I would agree. I think they were probably real. I mean, how old was Robert Shaw? 45, 47 when he did Jaws, something like that.
47, I think.
Yeah,
47, yeah.
Just turned, or just would have turned 93.
Mm-hmm.
So 48. So yeah, 47.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was real. I think his sideburns were real.
I'm sure somebody will sell them on eBay, like they did.
Exactly. And I'll probably buy them.
Yeah, the original Blood and Robert Shaw's sideburns.
Yeah. I was gonna say, and the blood. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the blood that hadn't dried up over 48 years. Yeah, so come on.
Yeah. Well, there was a goofball a couple of years ago that he was an actor. I think he was from Florida area, and he went to the vineyard. And when you go to Menemsha, if you look straight across, that's where the Murphys kept the Orca 2, which has been gone forever. And there is some metal work there. A couple spots you see things, remnants, wreckage, stuff like that. And he went over there and apparently was breaking off these rusty old pieces. How he didn't end up getting a tennis shot, I don't know. And was selling. And he tried to get on one of the Jaws sites. I can't remember if it was this one or one of the other ones. And was trying to sell it off. And Mikey Waters, who is a born Islander, said that's not part of the Orca 2. First of all, second of all, you're trespassing and you're stealing things, and here you are trying to make money on. The guy got really huffy and bent out of shape, and so much of that goes on out there.
You got to be savvy with some of this stuff, because I mean, people are always going to try and make a buck. But yeah, I mean, if you know a little bit, you know that the Orca's gone, and you're not getting any blood from 1974. That hasn't dried up. I mean, come on, listen, it'd be lovely. It'd lovely to tell you this was one of the blood packs from Robert Shaw's mouth when he got bitten in half. But
sadly, there are people that don't understand. Or I remember once on eBay when JawsMovie.com was in its heyday, I had a post on there that was pinned to the top. It was the first thing about buying stuff. And I remember once some kid bought a Jaws of Revenge poster signed by Robert Shaw. And he paid $187 for it.
Oh my gosh.
And at the time, when eBay first started, you could see who the high bidder was, and you could message them, because I used to get into bidding wars with Jim Beller. And, he would, he'd wait, he'd get up like at 3 a.m, and the auction ended at 3:01, and he'd outbid me by like a quarter. But I would always send him an email, hey, good job, nice bid, enjoy your item. But they stopped that after a while, because when I saw stuff that was phony that people were bidding on, I would send them an email and say, hey, like Robert Shaw never signed in a Sharpie. Robert Shaw was dead for 9 years when this movie came out.
Yeah. But that's like the thing, caveat emptor, right? Let the buyer beware. You should know that. If you know anything about, Robert Shaw was dead for several years when Jaws of Revenge came out. It's not possible. But yeah.
Well, part of that, I think it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I was going to say that's the other thing we did. We did a Jaws collection, sharing of your collection, and I'm sitting in my Jaws room. I have a Jaws room. I'm lucky enough to be that, and I'm like, man, my collection's pretty good. But then when you see someone like Eric Augustine or Mark Fitzgibbons from the UK It's like, oh man, these guys are just like,
Eric will be at Shark Fest.
Oh, great! Yeah, because he's down there, right? And actually, my in-laws live in Gainesville, Florida, so we've kind of got like a standing appointment. When next time I'm going to visit them, we're going to meet with Eric, and we're going to go down to that Jaws restaurant in Ocala, which is about half an hour south of Gainesville. So yes, that'd be good. Hopefully get to meet you guys next year as well. It'd be good to shake some hands and kiss some babies and meet everybody down there.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's becoming much more prolific, not just, I think what's been mirroring what's happening with these sites and with the members and with what you guys have going on. On top of that, in pop culture, we're seeing this huge resurgence of Jaws things. I mean, you look at the number of things that you can buy and collect now compared to, say, 25 years ago. I mean, honestly, it's not hard to find. Yeah, you can hop on Etsy, you can get them on eBay, all these different things. But it's going beyond just the little stuff now. And I was really starting to think about this. Even the movies are all of a sudden there's another wave of these Jaws movies, or Jaws movies, or these shark movies that are they're really trying to bring it around and make it like relevant again. And just looking at some of the real odd things that that I've been seeing popping up lately. Let's see where I got here. What do I got here? For example, Golden Books is doing a children's book based on Jaws.
Yeah.
But those are my grandkids. Yeah.
I got a copy. I have a copy. I bought a copy for my niece. And it's all about opposites, but where would you ever contemplate, coming across something relating to that? I mean, yeah, we were kids. Yep. You got it right there. It is. There it is. Yeah. And things like, Sperry bringing out not one, but yet a second rendition of the Jaws shoes years later. And chances are you're going to see it again. Some of the things that I've collected, some of the different shirts, weird things like, breweries coming up with pint glasses and basing beers off characters in Jaws. There's a Pennsylvania one that does one based on, New Jersey. They went based on Quinn. I have a glass, and I showed you guys the beer from Maryland. And then there's also one that does it on Mayor Vaughn. He's on the side of the can. And it's called "The Beaches Will Stay Open." It's just all kinds of stuff that you see out there. It's just amazing. It's almost like COVID has kind of brought like a resurgence of some of this. I want to say, or COVID was the start of that. The Funko Pops. Apparently, there's a whole nother rendition of those guys.
They're doing like I think Eric posted. Posted that they've got it's supposed to be exclusive at Walmart, but he's finding them elsewhere. But then you can find them at Walmart. It's just amazing. And what I loved about when AJG did the show your collection, pretty much everybody that really showed a lot of stuff, everybody had something I don't have.
Right.
And that's what's amazing. And to answer that question, I think it was Victor about Jim Beller. Jim does not have a museum, but he has a museum full of stuff. He has a storage facility full of stuff. I know when he and Jeff bought their house, I know he sold some stuff. But I would say that Jim and Ed McCormick over in Liverpool probably have the largest Jaws collections that I've ever seen. But Mark Fitzgibbons and Eric, and they dwarf mine. It's and it's weird because 20 years ago, before the internet and all that other stuff, I thought I was the weird guy. I was the weird guy that had a jar of sand from South Beach.
That's same. Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah. Then it's like, oh God, I'm not. And when last time I was at SharkCon, Eric Augustine, I didn't know they made water bottles that look like the scuba tanks. And,
yeah.
There's every time and not just like the one-off stuff like Martin has, that someone made for him, but just stuff that's out there that I never saw. It's just amazing that Star Wars and Jaws really are the two movies that 40 plus years later they still put new stuff out.
I can't think of another franchise maybe in the years to come, it might be Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter or something. But I mean, from movies from our generation, I think we're all pretty similar age. Yeah, I mean, it's just Jaws and Star Wars. I mean, and Star Wars was out a couple of years before. Jaws was out a couple of years before Star Wars, so there really wasn't a ton of merch. I mean, everybody probably as a kid had that little. I've got it behind here, the little plastic shark where you got the hook, you take the things out of the mouth and the jaws. Okay. Everybody had that, but I don't think there was anything really anything else. And it wasn't until later. I remember the first thing I bought was the McFarlane 3D poster from Todd McFarlane, that 3D poster. Yeah, I've got it over here. That was the first thing I bought, and at that point, that was probably late 90s or early 2000s.
2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s. And there wasn't a lot of stuff. And it's like, I said to my wife, I want to, start collecting a few Jaws things. And she's like, oh, that's fine. Just keep it, don't make it like janky and crappy and stuff. And the more you look into it, it's like you peel back an onion. It's like, oh, they do this, they do that. Oh my God. And so, I've bought stuff from Japan. I bought the little mini Bronco, which I love, from some guy in Israel off of eBay. All over the world you buy this stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. Or you can just go to your local Walmart and find the stuff for the aquarium, or they did that little TV that shows 3 or 4 scenes last year. So it's just. And I bought a phone charger. You rest your phone on it. It's a Jaws poster, but it's like Quint with a rifle and a barrel. It's non-stop. My problem is I'm running out of space now, and I don't want to be a collector that has my stuff in storage, because I don't like for me, what's the point? I want to show stuff off. I want to have it out, but I'm running out of space, and I want to be respectful. I don't want to take over the whole house with Jaws stuff, but my Jaws room is pretty much full now. I mean, so I'm going to have to be very selective in what I buy.
Well, my wife has a rule: if I bring something in, I've got to take 2 things out. So I'm very, yeah.
That doesn't seem like a fair rule, Michael. You might want to renegotiate.
I have a storage facility full of stuff.
Oh my God!
I was 20 and 30. Oh my God! I've got to have this. I've got to keep this forever, because I'll never be able to find this magazine anywhere else, because there's not going to be the internet or anything else. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah,
and time's not going to re-release it, and Crack's not going to, off topic, but when you said that, Mike, about whatever comes in, something has to go. You know what popped in my brain? Were you guys Married with Children fans?
I watched it.
Yeah.
The episode where Kelly, I don't know, she fell and hit her head, and suddenly she was a genius. She could take in all this information, and so Al Bundy, she was going to go on this sports game show, was feeding her nonstop all these details and facts. And it got to the point where her head got so full, and she was ready to go on the show. And he said, "You can't give her anything else, because she's gonna. Every time you give her a new fact, she's gonna lose something." She made it to the final round and lost it over like one of the easiest questions in the world. Because
no way.
I don't know why it popped into my head, Mike, but right away I could see Kelly, like the fact all I ever had. Anyway, sorry.
That's funny.
Pete Spidetti owns the stern share, the rod and reel, the toe fin, and the Zanuck Brown production sign.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a pretty cool collection right there.
Yeah, that's something to have in your basement,
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's just...
I got a piece of the Orchid too in my basement. He's got the damn chair.
Yeah, that's but it's like if you knew then what you know now, I mean, they wouldn't have let these orcas just rot away to nothing. I mean, that people would pay good money for those, and even the bits of the remaining, the Bruces. I mean, people would have. I mean, you look on eBay and some of this stuff. I mean, I bought that 3D McFarlane poster for like $20. They're going for like $250, $300 now. At the time I was like, man, I could have bought like 10 of these things, $200. I could have, made a couple of grand.
Same with the Todd McFarlane, the Spawn. Or not the Spawn guy that did the diorama.
Exactly.
I bought 2 of those for $35, and now I see them on eBay. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I wasn't that smart. I bought mine in perfect condition, never out of the box, for maybe $300, maybe 5-6 years ago. But yeah, I mean, those things are going. I mean, if you bought 10 of those, years ago, you would have made $4 or $5 grand on them easy.
Yeah.
I've never been much of a collector in Jaws. I mean, I have my Star Wars stuff from when I was a kid. When my son's a collector, he started to collect things. Now with Jaws, I got in that kind of late, and like I bought the action figures that came out. They were like the 3 3/4 inch scale action figures.
Yeah. reaction ones.
They did the 3 main figures, yes, and then they did the shark. I bought all of those. I was in New Jersey. If you ever go to New Jersey to Cape May, where the Washington Circle is, where all the shops are, there's a shop in there called the Great White Shark. There is a 18-foot stuffed great white shark that hangs from the ceiling, and you walk in there, and it's like you go bonkers. I mean, there's so much stuff in there. You go in the dressing rooms, and the old pictures and posters of plastic. And I bought all 3 of them. I think I paid like $7 a piece for the action figures.
Wow,
like $20. I look now just for what they want, just for one of the action figures on the cart. It's ridiculous. I mean, it really is. The way that this values of these things are skyrocketing, and you would think if a movie was near 50 years old and people were dying off that were in it and people were starting to go away or would lose interest, it would be like Beanie Babies. Like you couldn't give them away. It would be easier to burn them than it would to try, and this stuff just keeps going up in value and it keeps getting redone. Like, they came out with, what is it, the 10-inch action figures? They did Quint. They did Hooper. They were going to do Brody, but I think the family stepped in and stopped.
Yeah, because Jim Beller has a carded prototype of a Brody figure that got nixed by the family from I don't know 5-10 years ago, and but he was able to get it in a letter from the manufacturer. This is the only one we ever made, and you've got it. So yeah, the Brenda Scheider is very, very careful with Roy's likeness. So
and understood. So
yeah, I'm sure at some point they're probably going to do something with it, because I mean it would be another source of income for her. I'm sure she'd make some money out of it. I don't know her financial situation, but I mean the fans would eat it up. I mean they really would. But I mean, I said to my wife, I said, we got all this stuff, but this is, if we ever, God forbid we ever fall on really hard times, this will get us through a little bit of time if I sell this stuff. Because I mean, I total up what I spent on this, and it's like, whoa, that's a significant amount of money. And my collection is decent. I think my collection is really good. But when you compare it to like Eric and Mark and Jim, it's not even in the same. It's not even in the same league. Yeah. I've got a room full. Those guys have probably got a house full.
I'll give you $20 for that Brody thing if you need it.
Yeah, I mean, I like you, Michael, but not that much.
25 and a ham sandwich, right?
Yeah, $20 on a ham sandwich. That's the deal. Let's do it.
I'll give you a beer. How's that sound? Now, someone say Universal Studios didn't charge for the Jaws items. I don't know about the Jaws items, but I've heard plenty of stories about like Universal Studios and other companies that after they make a movie, it just becomes a burden to get rid of the things from the sets. And so they more or less give them away or sell them off for $1. And I would imagine, people on the island like Murphy and those guys, that's probably what happened. They probably got a lot of that stuff for next to nothing.
Well, I'm working on a story for the Daily Jaws about the fate of the Orca after filming. It changed hands a couple times before it ended up in Cabot Cove on Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what they had. Universal licensed some stuff. I've got like the jewelry, the little shark stuff on a chain, but they didn't do a lot of it because it really wasn't until Star Wars that they realized, oh my God, there's really an audience for action figigures and buttons and all the other stuff.
Right.
I mean, Lucas was smart. Lucas kept, he gave 20th Century Fox the rights to everything Star Wars except the licensing.
Yes.
And that movie made $1 zillion, and Fox still fired Alan Ladd Jr. because he gave up the licensing. So, yeah.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, but prior to Jaws, there was no comparison because you never had a blockbuster. I mean, these movies weren't making $100 million. I mean, you guys know this, and I'm sure the people out in the Jaws world know that the term blockbuster is from Jaws. That was the first blockbuster, first $100 million movie. So there was no precedent set. So they didn't know. But looking back now, like Jesus, I mean, you know, people would pay the silly money to have a piece of the Orca, to have Quint's jacket, to have Quint's, you know, rifle, to Brody's glasses. I mean, you know, the people would pay crazy money. I mean, I bought a replica, the Hooper, the Ulstack watch, you know, the Hooper watch, and that thing was like that thing was like $1,200. I mean, and that's a replica. So imagine the original. I mean, it's just, you know, it's just, you know, looking back now, it's like, man, if we knew then what we knew now, you know, there'd be money to be made for somebody.
And that's the thing is people are making attempts at these things on bigger scales. I'm seeing even on more commercialized things, like Amazon clothing stores, where they will put together an outfit reminiscent of like Quint or reminiscent of Hooper. There's a company, and I didn't know, it's about an hour away from me, that they deal primarily in producing uniforms and hats for Civil War reenactors, because Gettysburg is, you know, 40 minutes from my house. So huge. And they're the ones that make the Quint reproduction hat that you can buy. And I'm thinking to myself, my wife does evaluations and stuff down that way once in a while. I'm like, I'm just going to have to go down there and stop and just get one of those hats, you know? I mean, and the people are putting the time into it to make good quality. I'll be honest with you, some of the stuff that I come across and I see, I'm like, it's cool. It's not cool enough that I'm going to spend money on. It reminds me of something that, like, maybe my teenage son would get, or just to me, not that it is, but it comes like almost to me, it seems like it would be throwaway money. It would be cool for about a minute, and that would be about it. But then some of these things that you see that I have or have purchased, you're just blown away by the amount of time that they're putting into it. You can tell they're not doing it just to cut a buck on it. In fact, some of that stuff, they're probably not making a ton on it. They're doing it for the same fact that we do this kind of stuff, you know? Right. So really impressive stuff. So can you buy Jaws items at the Jaws conventions? Like original Jaws items? I would have.
There's very few original stuff out there. But there's a lot, you know, Funkos and little, not Mego, but Remco, whoever made the carded little 3.5-inch figures. That stuff's out there. I stumbled into Target, and they've got the Hooper in the cage. I found a couple of those. Thankfully, somebody at Target didn't put it in the collector's items. They thought apparently that Hooper was part of the Batman series, because it was like, you know, late night Gotham Batman Hooper. I'm like, okay, I'll take them. But yeah, they have stuff, especially when they know fans are going to be there. Like this show in October, like they're going to have all, you know, they'll have as many Dreyfus, you know, the Hooper Funkos they can find, and the people selling Amity Police patches and you know, little ID cards and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it won't be a lot of original stuff because there's just not a lot of original stuff out there. But
well, sometimes you'll find that there is, like, you know, we when we went to the FrankenCon in Tennessee a few months back, they had some original, like, artwork, you know, from, you know, it wasn't official Jaws merchandise, but it was like cool looking artwork from the movie somebody had made. So, you know, it's not official stuff, but it's cool stuff nonetheless. I mean, these models I've got, you know, they're not they're not official, but I think they're pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
So it says, where can I buy a model of the Orca? There's been one floating around. It kind of looks like something you would get off of like Etsy or Amazon for quite a while. It retails for like $100 and some, $140, and it's not super accurate. It is definitely very reminiscent. There is an entire page dedicated towards people who actually build Orcas of all different sizes and scales, and the detail on it's crazy. I have a bit of a modeling background. I did it as a kid, being around cars, and I actually did it during college for extra money. And I do know, to my knowledge, there is no, right there it is. That's what I'm talking about.
I have the same one. I have the same one.
Yeah. There has never been, to my knowledge, an actual commercially produced one, unless maybe there was a rare wooden kit. I do know that a gentleman, it was two guys that were partners in the modeling business, had made one, and they were getting it ready for retail. And right as they came around the time to get it ready for retail, the one who was, I believe, was the master behind making the original passed away, and so it never came to fruition. And I remember chomping a bit. I couldn't wait for it to come out. However, last year, if you know anything about models, your higher end model kits, especially you get them from Europe, or they're your resin kits. They'll have the resin, and then they'll have the photo etching done in metal, the metal work for the detail work instead of the big gloopy plastic. A German company made a 187 scale Orca in resin, and it comes all the rigging, all the riveting and the bolt heads, everything is detailed very, very well in photo etching, but you've got to be used to working with that kind of stuff. Resin is not the same as like styrene plastic, like the model kit cars you would go buy. It's not as forgiving. And the photo etching is really, really small and really delicate. When I say 187 scale, I'm talking it is maybe 5-6 inches in length. However, which is hard then to bring the detail out as you go smaller. However, I will say the detail on it is absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm not done with it. I worked on it a bit over the summer during the school year. Really hard for me to get time to sit down with that stuff. I'm going to try and get it done definitely this winter. So hopefully I'll have to get that out once it's done. It's pretty amazing. So,
well, the guy you were talking about, Nate, that's Mick Cashman from the UK.
Yes.
He does great versions of the Orca. I think they're about 3 feet, and the detail's pretty good. I have the same one Michael has, and it's decent. But to your point, it's reminiscent of the Orca. I mean, the barrels are not even yellow. The barrels are like kind of an off color. I'm looking at it right now, and it's decent. It retails about $100, $140, like you said. And again, it's decent, but it's not like, screen, matching. But Mick Cashman does great work. He's on AJG. He's probably on your guys' group as well. But he has a web page, Facebook page. Called the Orca something, or I don't remember exactly what it's called, but he does great work, very, very good work.
Oh, he has taken pictures of his stuff out on lakes, and you look at it, and you damn near think you're looking at a production frame from the movie at times.
Right.
It's amazing, and yeah, Lego is doing an Orca and it has the 3 characters and the shark on it. I know for a fact that's coming out as well, and I want to say this is probably Donna. It says, Mike, there is less than a dozen pieces of the chimney on Chappie. I would assume that would be the chimney, probably from Quint's shack. I would assume.
At the end of the film, when at the very end, as the credits are rolling, and
they're coming out,
they make it to the beach. That chimney in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, and there was I think 2 originally. I think there was 2 buildings, 2 chimneys originally. I could be wrong. Donna will know. You should be able to tell us. But yep. I have not made my way that far down Chappaquiddick yet. I've been to Chappaquiddick, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I take the ferry over and take my cyclocross bike and we ride. But I usually have like a handful of people with me. My understanding is it's quite a ride. Now you can get in a truck and pay, is it Harborside or someone, and they'll drive you down. It's, when I understand, it's a bit of a ways down. Quite a ways down. I do plan on getting down there at some point. So,
Milos popped on. Milos, happy birthday, my friend. I hope you had a good day today.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Our international.
Michael and Martin, could you please show your orcas? We just saw one of them. When you guys want to grab it?
I beg your pardon.
Well, mine's the same, but I can walk over here real quick. Oh my God.
Martin will take us over.
Sitting on the floor. Oh my gosh, I'm too old to be doing that.
Get you stiff.
You guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah, let me move that comment so we can see a little bit. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But it's nice. There it is. It's nice. You have an orca. You can't.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. Well, that was a lot. I can't keep doing that, getting up and sitting down business. Sorry. That was quite painful.
There was the first Shark Con I did. There was a guy that had, I don't know, it was probably 5 foot, beautiful model that he brought, and he had Joe sign. But it was
nice.
Just, oh my God, he made it. He just I made it. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know about you guys. I tried messing around a little bit with the wood model building. That's a whole skill on its own, separate from. You got to seriously know what you're. I mean, those guys are way above my pay grade on that stuff. I mean,
My dad used to toy with balsa wood models. Yeah, I never.
Yeah.
You touch it, it breaks, and you get yelled at. So.
That was a good thing about the cheap plastic models. You broke one, you went to the store and got another one for $8, and you were set. Yeah.
And I can't think of the models. I can't. And of course, his name went out of my head because I wanted to remember it. But the gentleman that drew the Jaws 2, the advanced poster, he worked for Aurora. He drew. A lot of his artwork was on the models of the 60s and 70s.
Oh,
no kidding.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, Roy was a big name, particularly with the boats and some of the airplanes and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I was a car guy, so we grew up on like the AMTs and the NPCs and all that kind of good stuff, monograms and things of that nature, and then later got into the racing kits. Yeah, very cool. Well, I know we're kind of getting to that time, but I was trying to just put a couple ideas together for the show tonight. I was trying to do a few visuals for us, and for whatever reason, something crazy popped into my head, and it was just dumb enough. It just seemed like it might be just fun enough to drum up a quick little conversation. One of the things of relevancy that has popped up is everyone the last couple of years is like, what if they reshoot Jaws? Should they reshoot it? And who should be in Jaws? And what if this happened in Jaws? And I don't know why, but I was doing something today or yesterday, and this picture popped up. And when this picture popped up, I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. I said to myself, just for dumb fun, what if Aquaman ended up in Jaws? How would the Jaws series pan out if Aquaman was in Jaws?
It'd be a very short movie, wouldn't it?
I don't know what was actually Aquaman's power. He could control fish.
He could control fish. He could talk with fish. He get them to do things. I want to say he could control water as well. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like, hey, shark, don't eat that person on the beach. End of roll credits. That would be it.
Movie's over. Well, it's funny. Eddie McCormick did a thing, 15 years ago, the Justice League, and I was Aquaman.
Oh my God.
And I was Aquaman, ironically.
And being a DC fan, growing up the DC fan, for years the running joke was Aquaman was the biggest wuss of the superhero world. They're like, really? What powers does he really? What did he ever really do? He couldn't fly. He had to be in the water. Yeah. And so it's it just struck me as being odd. And I started to think, okay, in Jaws, what would Aquaman do? Could he have stopped it from happening? Could he have saved anyone's life? Could he have turned the shark? And then I started to deep dive this. What about in Jaws 4? Maybe he was the one that was making the shark go down to the Bahamas. Maybe he had a vendetta against Brody,
You will fly, you will roar. I'm commanding you.
Oh my God! You always bring it back to Jaws 4, and I just can't. Another problem with Jaws 4, and now you set me off. We were getting ready to wrap it up, but now you set me off. Ellen lost her son literally days before. She flies down to the Bahamas, and then she's like dancing at the Junkanoo with Michael Caine. Like, did you not just lose your son like 3 days ago? You're dancing with some strange English guy. I have so many problems with that film. It's not even funny. But that's probably a conversation for another day.
It's Michael Caine though. 80s Michael Caine. I had to dance with 80s Michael Caine.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see that. He's Michael Caine and he's a legend. But I've got so many problems with that film that he's just, like I said at the beginning, if it was called Shark in the Bahamas, I'd probably enjoy it like I enjoy Sharknado because it's silly fun. But because it says Jaws, I'm immediately protective, and it's like this movie is just a pile of steaming poop. It's not a good film.
Well, that's funny because I'm doing a piece for Daily Jaws about shark films, and the topic Ross suggested was, did Jaws ruin shark movies? Because it did, basically, because everything gets compared to it.
Well, and that's a great point. I don't agree completely because I think Jaws on its own is a classic. But Sharknado and the Meg and or even these Cocaine Bear and Alligator and Piranha. I mean, they're definitely inspired by Jaws. but they're not fit to be in the same sentence as Jaws. Right. Even I love Jaws 2. I think Jaws 2 is phenomenal. I love Jaws 2, but like I say, if Jaws 3 was called, Shark at SeaWorld and Jaws 4 was Shark in the Bahamas, I would enjoy them more than I do. But because they carry the Jaws moniker, that's a heavy crown to wear, right? So. But that's another. I could talk about this for days. I'd talk your ears off on these things. But I look forward to seeing that piece on the Daily Jaws, though.
So Nate, note to myself next year at SharkCon: keep Martin away from Lance Guest and Mario Van Peebles.
Well, I will appreciate Lance Guest because he was in Halloween 2 and The Last Starfighter. But I'll see him for those things. If Jaws 4 comes up, I'm going to start swinging, though. I'll just be honest.
We're going to be holding him back.
I'll be like, guys, hold me back. I'm about to drop some elbows.
Hey, Donna chimed back in about what we were talking about earlier. Sorry to keep jumping around here. It says, Nate, the trustees of the reservation gives tours out on Chappie to the Cape Hogue Lighthouse, and they will drive you there. Yeah, that's what I read. That you can actually go out there and more or less, I guess, buy a ticket or whatever, and because they're permitted vehicles and drive out. And if you ever go there, when you go visit the My Toy Gardens, they have an air station. You have to air your tires down just to drive out in sand. And I drive a 4-wheel drive Chevy Silverado, but I've never driven in sand. And I would be the idiot that drive 6 miles in and bury the frame in sand. So that's why I don't do that. But yeah. So it says, I feel your pain, Martin. So I think a lot of us agree with it. We just don't get as angry as you do anymore.
I do tend to get wound up about this stuff. Like Jaws 1 and Jaws 2. I'm happy all day long. But you go past that, I get angry. I do get angry. I apologize.
You don't have to apologize. Trust me. It just adds to the fuel of the nightmare that is that movie.
You might say anger. I say passion. Let's go with passion.
Oh, David Bigelow. David Bigelow joined us. Hi, David. Welcome.
Hey, yeah. Hi, David.
Hey, thanks for the heads up there, Donna. All right, Char.
Yeah, definitely.
Next time. I definitely want to get down there. Yeah, it's just a cool looking place. Yeah. So, Joe's next week is all Martin on his opinion. Sit back and enjoy him being angry. That's like jumping on a hand grenade right there.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, guys.
You know what? With the current political situations going on, we can have debates over this. We could throw up a topic and debate it and see who has the best outcome of that.
There you go. Well,
that would be incredible.
When I talk to Spencer next about SharkCon, I'm going to say, I've got someone that wants to host the Jaws of Revenge screening.
Oh Jesus, that's going to be. That would be. We would make local news. It wouldn't be good.
Wait a second, and you follow that up with Mike. Oh, and he doesn't know it yet.
He doesn't know it yet. It's a surprise.
We'll get him up on stage and then do it.
Oh, it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good. I mean, I just, I think my reputation in the Jaws world is okay, but it would go away very, very quickly.
Turn into a mosh pit at that point, right? So it says, Martin, what about Jaws 3?
Oh Jesus! See now you're poking the bear. That's what you're doing. You're provoking me. I mean, Jaws 3. Again, if it was called, Shark in SeaWorld, it'd be one thing. And I love Joe Alves. I mean, he's obviously a Jaws legend, but it wasn't a good movie. I mean, the 3D is awful. And I know it's like 1982, 83. I mean, it's the best they could probably do, but it's not. It's just not fit to follow Jaws 2. And I know there are people out there that don't even like Jaws 2, and I can see that, but. Jaws 2 to me at least has a similar feel to Jaws. Roy Scheider's in it, Lorraine Gary's in it. The score is phenomenal, and I would even say to me, and this is unpopular, I think the score in Jaws 2 maybe even better than the score in Jaws 1. I think the Jaws 2 score is beautiful. And being a big horror fan, we've talked about this before, Mike. I see Jaws 2 as being one of the early slasher movies. It basically has a malevolent force after a bunch of teenagers. Yeah. The teenagers that are having, sex and all that kind of stuff. Eddie, Tina, they get kind of focused on first. I mean, that follows the the slasher genre. It starts the slasher genre. Obviously, Black Christmas was before that in '74, and Bay of Blood was before that in I think '69 or '70. But to me, it's one of the early slasher movies, Jaws 2. So, getting way off topic. I talk about this stuff for ages, but I think Jaws 2 is a legit sequel.
Oh yeah, that's Donna again. She was in the beginning of Jaws: The Revenge, and I do have to say, and I'll stop poking the bear with you. The first 15 minutes or so of Jaws: The Revenge, I think there's some good part in marriage to that.
No, I'm not. I can't let you say that. No. Listen, you're a great guy, but no.
I will say this. So 2 things. Donna is in it. You actually see her walking down the street. She's doing a little shopping. And here's the other thing. And I don't know. I know I've said it before, but I swear I'm right on this. When you watch the scene where Sean dies, he gets the arm bit off and then gets grabbed and attacked. You listen really carefully. They ADR Quint's death scream from the end of Jaws in over top of him. I'm telling you, I know you don't want to watch the movie. You pull up that clip and you listen carefully and you pull up the clip of Quint when he does that scream and spits the blood. And I'm telling you, it's that clip.
I feel like you're tricking me. So you're gonna make me watch that scene, and next time we talk, I gotcha.
April Fool.
No,
yeah, right.
Listen. I am dead serious over that.
Yeah. Made you look.
Listen. I am dead serious about that. 100. No, I am not trying to poke the bear. 100%. I'm telling you, I've done it, and I've gone back and compared, and it would make sense because they pulled out the clip of Brody shooting the shark, and you know that Ellen didn't see that happen. So they obviously were licensed to pull some things from the original Jaws. And I'm telling you, you go back and listen to that, and then listen to his death scream, and it's the same thing. They put it.
I could probably sit through 6 or 7 minutes through it and maybe listen to that. But if it's not true, I won't be back on this show, and I'll talk crap about you guys for on AJD every day.
No, honestly, I wouldn't. I wouldn't fool you with that. It is, and if I am wrong, I will apologize. But when I say that I'm about 99% positive, I've gone back and listened to it over and over again, and it's got to be lifted right out of the end of Jaws. I would be amazed if that's not it.
I know we're way over time, but there's one thing I did want to say, and this was quite shocking to me. But in Jaws, there's a scene where they're in the hardware store, and the guy's like, "You guys haven't got anything I asked for." No. And I thought for the longest time it was Summer Dinks with a D, and I watched Jaws a couple of times this month, and if you listen carefully, he says Ginks. Clearly says Ginks. And I posted that on the AJG, and it got a lot of traffic and a lot of arguments because people were saying dinks, double income, no kids. But that phrase wasn't coined until the 80s when the yuppies came into be. So dinks wasn't a common phrase in the 70s. And I listened to it several times, and he clearly says ginks, which ginks apparently has a meaning. It's like a foolish person. But I was amazed because if you said to me, what is it? I would have said dinks, and I would have bet my house on it. But if you listen to it, he clearly says ginks, which I was amazed.
He says ginks, but I think at the beginning when I can't remember the actor who played the young blonde at the beginning after Chrissy dies the next morning when he and Brody are walking up the beach.
Jonathan Filey.
Yeah, Cassidy. Yeah.
It sounds like he says dinks, but the guy in the store definitely says ginks with a G. You're exactly right. Yeah.
So I'll go back and listen to that.
Double income, no kids.
So that's
but that wasn't a phrase in the 70s, Michael. That didn't come into be until the 80s, until the yuppies came to be a thing. I don't think dinks was.
That's Donna. She would know.
She would know, and I know. I mean, the times that I've been on the island, I've heard dink. Okay, and that would be us, the people that go and visit. And then if you move there, you're a wash-ashore. That's what that refers to. In fact, there's a brewery on the island called Wash Ashore Beer. So you're someone who has moved there, and then obviously you're an Islander if you were born and raised there. So, hey, maybe they're both floating around there, and maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they are being both in use.
I didn't know
I agree with
Dinks
you.
was double income, no kids.
But somebody said it's some
really?
things and still use that here, but and that may be true. But in the 70s, double income, no kids wasn't a common phrase. It just wasn't a common phrase. I don't think it was even coined until the 80s. But the guy in the hardware store 100% says ginks. And listen, I'm surprised. Right. I'm as surprised as anybody because I thought it was dinks my whole life.
No, you're right. You clearly hear him say ginks and not with a D. You hear that that G on the front of it. You're exactly right. Yeah. Today we just call them New Yorkers. Yes. People who live in here and have a real resentment for the New Yorkers. Yes.
Now I guess I have to watch Jaws. Oh, well.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I mean, like you need a reason.
What's your dog's name?
Her name is Lindy. So she's a rescue. We got her about 5 years ago, and they found her at the airport just wandering around. So they called her Lindy because of Charles Lindbergh. And we kept the name because it's part of her story. But she's the sweetest dog you'll ever meet. We think she's part boxer, part pit bull, but she is just an absolute sweetheart. Just an absolute sweetheart. Hey, Lindy.
Nice. She is a good-looking dog. She's very well behaved.
Yeah,
I don't have a dog, but we have a cat I rescued, a feral cat last year. His name is Amity.
Oh, there you go.
Amity. So
there you go.
We called him that not just because of the joy. We called it because he was like everyone's little buddy, and we brought him home.
There you go.
Nice. Scared to death of people. He's no longer Amity. I'm going to steal shit and do whatever I can, whether you're standing watching me or not. That's his name now. So. I have changed his name to Shithead, and that's what he is now.
That's like from the Jerk, right? Steve Martin's dog, the Shithead. Yeah.
Call that dog Lifesaver. Call him Shithead. Yes.
That's funny. So when we had Carl Gottlieb on, everyone was asking Jaws questions, this and that. And I was like, my question was to Carl Gottlieb, like, how did you mentally even physically prepare to be Iron Balls McGinty in the Jerk? Because he gets kicked in the balls and his Iron Balls. I forget his response, but it was funny. It was a good response.
He told me a story. He's in the movie Oh God, John Denver and George Burns.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. I know the movie.
In the courtroom, he's got a lot of shots. He's in the courtroom at the end. And apparently Carl Reiner, who had done the Jerk after that, but he'd worked with him, had him, he was a person that sued John Denver for one of his blasphemous comments. And he was in the court to see, if he really talked to God, but yeah, they cut all his lines, they cut his scenes. But I'm like, Carl, you're all over that movie.
Yeah.
I always feel the actor I feel sorry the most for is the actor that sat next to Kevin Bacon during A Few Good Men, because he's in every scene and he didn't have one line.
Yeah.
You couldn't even have him say, "Let me get some coffee for you, Captain."
That's right. Yeah, nothing. You get nothing. But what a movie though! That's a great movie as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Don's chiming back in. So the guy in the hardware store was Bill O'Gorman, a charter captain from Nemesha. That's cool. Yeah.
That's a Donna's fact.
It is a Donna's fact. Yeah, Donna's got tons of them. I tell you what, you guys been to the island. All of you have met Donna. Mike, I know you have. I don't know if you have, Mark. Great lady.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Go on one of her tours, and not just the Jaws things. Because Jen and I went on a tour with her last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, and I had seen a bunch of the Jaws things already because I'd done a lot of research and looked around. But I'm a bit of a history nerd, so she took me and showed us a lot of things and talked about going back to like the Revolution and even getting into like the Freedom Trail that goes through the island, and really amazing. And she is. She's a member of quite a few different things on the island with the heritage and history, and incredibly knowledgeable and very nice woman too. Great lady.
Yeah, I know. Robin, who's one of the moderators on the Amity Jaws Group, went and met Donna this weekend when she went to meet Jeff Voorhees to do the announcement for the competition. So I've not met Donna. I've not had the pleasure yet, but hopefully on Jaws 50, I get to meet her when the 50-year anniversary comes around.
and she's like so many other people on the island. They're just go out of their way to be nice to you. I mean, they really are. It's something that I'm not terribly used to. I mean, you go there and you cross the street and the damn, you know, someone's going to stop and tell you to go. You do that here, you're going home in a body bag. It's just, you know, one thing that impresses us up there is the people that's up there. It really is. And, you know, I'll tell a quick Donna story and then hang it up. You know, I got to know Donna through here, like, you know, more or less, you know, hearing Mike back and forth with Donna and Donna get on and giving information and things of that nature. And I got there and I gave her a call. And she said, "Hey, you know, Edith Blake is going to be signing some of her books because she was just re-releasing her book, and Micah did the forward in it." And she said, "You know, Edith is going to be down there, and she's going to be signing some." And I had took my son and his friend, and I took my in-laws, and we were scheduled to do a couple things. She called down to the bookstore in Edgartown and had him put a copy aside for me that Edith signed. I mean, just, you know, those things. And she didn't know me from Adam.
That's cool.
Just
very cool.
Just really, really cool people. Great people to know. Yeah, very nice people. So
very cool.
All right, gentlemen. Well, unless you want to talk more, you know, Jaws of Revenge here, I think we're at a good spot. I'm
going to go and kick a puppy now because you mentioned Jaws of Revenge again. I'm going to punch a baby.
Oh man! So, at any rate, you know what? Another great evening, another great time hanging out.
Martin, always fun, guys. I'm always happy to join whenever you want me. I'm always happy to join if I can.
Perfect. Yeah. Make it a threesome.
Yeah.
Well, easy, Michael. Calm down. It's not that kind of party.
It's not like saying, "Can you guys show us your orcas?"
Well, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Oh my God! Let me see your hands. It's gonna get bad soon. Okay. All right. At any rate, guys, hey, thank you very much again. As always, you know, Martin, keep it going, man. What you're doing is just incredibly awesome, and you're raising the bar for the rest of us. You know,
no, likewise, you guys are killing it. So I'm proud of what you guys are doing. Happy to be a part of it. Happy to, you know, to be a part of the good Jaws people, right? It's good. I mean, we are out there. There's a lot of people out there for their own advantages, but you guys are legit, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Anything we can do to help you guys, sign me up. I'm on board.
Happy to have you.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again on 5 years. That's
crazy. It's gone by quickly. And listen, you guys are killing it. I mean, you're snapping at our heels. You'll be there with us, you know, before much too longer as well. So, congrats to you guys. Always a pleasure. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me. And I'm always free to join you guys. It's always a pleasure.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thanks for stopping by. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great week. Hopefully the weather cools off for you.
Please, yeah.
Fins up, everybody. Enjoy the week. We'll catch up with you later.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good one.